My last bottle of wine was almost empty. As I looked at my glass, I thought it was much better to drown my sorrows in a bottle of selected wine than in cheap bourbon. Will the black streak in my life never end? I wondered. Yesterday my car's oil pressure dropped while driving at high speeds on the freeway, causing the engine to be beyond repair. Today, my front tooth broke, needing an expensive new crown. All of this happened just now, when I was as broke as I could possibly be. My business failed last week after my biggest client went bankrupt. And I had invested all my assets in this project. I didn't even own the condo I was living in anymore. The bank would take it all away in the very near future. I tried in vain to concentrate on the soft bouquet and the lovely dark red hue of the wine when my reflective musings were suddenly interrupted by the piercing sound of the doorbell. What more trouble? I thought. What a surprise, I said when I saw who was at the door. I haven't seen you for the last 12 years, Jane. What is the reason for your visit, may I ask? Could we come in, please, me? I mean Robert and I need to talk to you, George. We need your help, my ex-wife said excitedly. I reluctantly let them in and we sat down in the living room. I'm sorry, I said, the bottle, as you can see, is empty. It was the last one, and I can't offer you anything else but a cup of coffee. We don't need anything, just give us a chance to tell you something and then ask if you'll help us, Jane said. Okay, tell us, what's on your mind? I have to go back more than 12 years to when I met Robert. As you know, we fell in love with each other. He wanted me to leave you and marry him, and I said yes and that I would ask you for a divorce. I told him that I really wanted to have a child with him and that I would beg you to let me go without a fight so we could start doing it as soon as possible. He then informed me of the horrifying fact that he was medically unable to become a father. Robert was not sterile, but he had inherited a serious genetic defect that he did not want to pass on to future generations. He always used condoms when we made love. Do you understand where we're going, George? Oh my God, I think I do. Does that mean I'm the father of your child? I asked. Yes, it's a fact, she confirmed. So you really fooled me, didn't you? Yes, I did. I lied to you. I asked Robert if I had gotten you pregnant and told him he was the father. Would he have taken full responsibility for the child and raised it as his own? He said yes and said he would be very happy, as he really wanted to be a father. If you're here because you want me to help with child support, it's absolutely hopeless. My company closed last week. I'm ceding my apartment to the bank, and I have nothing of value left, I told her. No, you're not. If you help us, we could help you, she replied. I don't take charity, I said. Explain what your problem is. The problem is our daughter. She has leukemia and needs a bone marrow transplant. I'm not compatible, and we really hope you'll want to test for compatibility to see if you are. And if so, will you help her? We haven't found matching donors, and it's a matter of life and death for her. We're in such a desperate situation. She looked at me with pleading eyes. Was I angry? Yes, of course I was very angry. Would that stop me from helping this little girl? No, I couldn't let that happen. After waiting a few seconds, I said to her, You used me outrageously, don't you agree? Yes, I did. I beg you to forgive me. But after all, Gina had nothing to do with my deception. It was all my fault, she replied. Yes, I agree with you there. I can't refuse, but it will only be on my terms, I said. Whatever you say, I will do and agree to anything in my power if you save her. You know her name is Georgina, we call her Gina. It was Robert's idea to name her after you. We were ashamed of the way we fooled you. If she gets better, do you want her to live with you? No, I won't take her out of the house, that would be very wrong. But she needs to be told the truth, and I want the right to visit. In addition to that, you have to cover all the medical expenses for her and me. As I said, I have no funds at present, I said, and, by the way, I don't have a car, so you have to pick me up and take me to the hospital for tests. They agreed without even discussing it. And 2 days later we were sitting in the doctor's office at the hospital. I had been tested, and the doctor called us in to report the results. He coughed and said embarrassedly, "I don't know how to explain the results to you. Mr. Robeson, what makes you think you're the father of this child?" "My ex-wife told me that 2 days ago," I replied with a shrug. My wife turned to the doctor and, nervously, told him, "George is supposed to be the father. I got pregnant before I left him. I told him I got pregnant by Robert so he would give me a quick divorce. Robert is not the biological father. Just to be sure, we checked it out, and it was confirmed. It had to be George. I'm sorry, Mrs., there is no doubt, Mr. George Robeson is not the father of this child, and he cannot, I repeat, cannot be used for a bone marrow transplant because of complete incompatibility." All three of them looked at Jane with some surprise. Then suddenly she screamed, "That bastard Tim, he said he was sterile." "Who's Tim?" Robert asked. "I take it she means our next-door neighbor. He was a ladies' man," I answered his question. "By the way, he died last year."